Mets got Juan Soto. We got Ted Williams.
Rundown, December 9th. We got KFC here. Obviously, huge Mets news. We want to start with High Noon, our presenting sponsor. No matter the forecast, live like the sun's always out with High Noon hard seltzer made with real spirits, real juice. Text some friends to get the plans going and pick up a pack on the way. High Noon is just 100 calories with no added sugar and available in vodka seltzer and tequila seltzer variety packs with crisp, delicious flavors for every occasion under the sun. Visit highnoonspirits.com to find a pack near you. Kevin, congratulations are in order. Juan Soto, the crown jewel of the baseball free agent class, is a New York Met, spurning the Yankees, making you guys the king of New York. No, how you feeling this morning?
It's one of the greatest days of my life as a sports fan. Short of hopefully one day winning the World Series, this is the best thing that can happen to the New York Mets. It's something that I never, in my wildest dreams, if you told me, when early 2000s, as I was growing up, that one day the Mets would not only sign the player of a generation, and not only would it be upwards of $1 billion, but that it would be taken right from the Yankees' clutches from a guy who not only played with them, but went to the postseason, went to the World Series, wore the pinstripe, all of that shit. This changes. Like, who knows what happens? Can you win the World Series with him? Hopefully, probably, maybe. But, you look at the Dodgers. They were the best team for like a decade. They barely won one, right? So you can't control what happens after this point. Anybody who's in postseason contention could win or lose the World Series. But what you can control is shit like this. And what Steve Cohen did here and what Juan Soto did here forever changes New York baseball. Forever. Like, up until the ink was on the paper, Saturday Night Live had skits making fun of the Mets, calling them needy and poverty, and Juan Soto doesn't want to play there. You got the footage of every Yankee fan in the world being like, doesn't matter how much money, he's not going there. And up until then, they were right. And it's a new day. You can never make those jokes again. You can never talk little brother again. You can never talk about redheaded stepchild. Nobody gives a fuck about the Yankees aura or mystique anymore. It was about money and about the future, and the Mets have better in both of those departments. So it's the job's not done, of course, but it's, again, as far as like being a franchise that is a contender and a real player, this solidifies them like instantly.
And the Mets have gotten guys before, like obviously Carlos Beltran, big names before. But what makes this guy different, and how much better is it that it's from the Yankees as opposed to like the Astros with Beltran?
Even Beltran, when he signed, he was like, he wanted to go to the Yankees. And the Yankees were like, we got this luxury tax right now. They talked about him taking a discount. And in the end, he was like, it's just too much of a discount. But like, even when we got our guy, that was our biggest free agent signing ever before that, it was like, he still wanted. It's like the Yankees, anytime the Mets did make a splash, it was the Yankees allowed them to. This was like the fact that we took it from you. If he was coming from the Nats or the Padres, it would still be a big deal if it was Mets and Yankees and they won. But like, he already wore the uniform, played in the stadium, had the fans, all that shit that Yankee fans think is like so special. And it's like, no, bro, it's not 1999. Like, nobody fucking cares. That shit is over now. And if you can't find the money or the means, the way to sign Juan Soto, then like, you know what I mean? Like, if they ever go head to head for a bidding war again, they'll lose every time. There's just a better option with more money.
So we got Hubs, our Yankees guy, on. Hubs, condolences, Juan Soto now in the orange and blue. What are your thoughts this morning?
I said Hubs is the only guy I actually feel bad for. Tommy can rot in hell. Marty's a fucking idiot. Hubs, I feel like a smidge bad for.
Yeah, you texted me that and almost made it even worse.
Yeah, I
know. No, this sucks, man. I was just on Pick Central. I've kind of just talking it all out. There's no, like, the plan B, plan C, plan D. They all suck. Like, it was all Soto. It was Yankees and Mets the whole way, 50-50. There was never going to be other teams. And they eventually got to a point where I think the Yankees just eventually sniffed out, like, If we go to 775, he's going to 800. Like I don't want to carry Hal's water, and I'm not intending to do that here. But like when people are like, "Oh my God, they wouldn't go to 765 for him," like no, dude, like that just how it was unfolding. Like it was over. Like then he was going. They officially like saw he was going to the top bid, and Cohen was not going to be deterred. And this was his guy to make his statement. And he's fuck you, and like, oh, you're going to put this Cohen tax level? I don't care. Like I hate all of you people. I have more money than all you people. I'm going to make a statement here, and that's what he did. And Juan Soto is the perfect guy to do that. And yeah, I'm really sad. The only thing I'm holding on to right now is one, and I truly believe this. Tommy would disagree that I think him going to Boston would be the worst thing that's ever happened to me. So I'm very happy that didn't happen. And I've always said, and it changed a little today on the way to work. I've never really hated the Mets. Hate Mets fans. Today now I hate the Mets for the first time. Like Tommy, it's the worst thing in the world anytime the Mets win. Like usually I just don't like regular season. I just don't care. Tommy, it's like Frankie's Rangers with his Islanders, like that kind of. For me, that's the Red Sox. Like I can't stomach them getting an out in a regular season game. So if he went to the Red Sox, that would have been a disaster. Like of epic report. Obviously, this is horrible too, but that's even worse because he's in your division. And also, thank God Clemmer and Phil are just not here. I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. Oh, poor Tommy just stuck in a bar in New Orleans with those fucking freaks.
Yeah. Yeah. The worst is I was telling Phil like what was going on and with like the signings, whatever. And he's like, he's going to the Yankees. I'm like, yo, Phil, I told you 30 minutes ago where he's going to the Mets. And like, this is killing me even more that you can't understand this text conversation. But yeah,
I'll say this though. The money was it's the bigger difference than people think because it was $75 million signing bonus. The opt-out clause avoidance is automatic. It's going to be 40 million more. So it was really 800.
Yeah.
But it was close enough that if he wanted to go,
oh yeah,
he could have. It wasn't one of those things where like when the Rangers signed A-Rod, it was like you got to like double the biggest contract for me to go to this fucking shitty franchise, and they did. This was not that. It was not like the Mets were like, the Yankees were like, we'll give you 550, and the Mets were like, please come to our shitty franchise. Here's 200 million more. If he wanted to, he could have, and I think that's worse for you.
Yeah, no. Like Randy Miller said, and he's a terrible reporter. And I didn't believe it from the start, but it's one of those things like the Red Sox fans like clung to this report, like they were clinging to any little thing. Yeah. And Randy Miller was like, the Yankees are topping out at 550. And I just absolutely knew that was the most bullshit report ever because they were already above that. They were in like the 600s at that time. So he was so out of the loop. So like, it wasn't like, the Yankees stopped at 550. We're like, we can't go a dime higher. They were up there. They were at 760.
But what you said is also right. That like, so part of me says, well, the last I saw was that they were at 712 and they got a phone call like, you guys are way behind, and they upped it to 760. And yeah, the logic is like, well, then why not go to 770? Why not go to 780? Like at this point,
because they just knew it wasn't going to end.
It would have just gone on. I honestly think if Ohtani set the market at 850 last year, I think Steve Cohen would have started at 850. Like I don't think we comprehend how much money he has. It does not matter.
No, I really go back to that clip, and it gets played a ton now, where he's like, I don't want to make money. I just want to win.
He says it's philanthropy. He said it's literally does it for philanthropy.
And honestly, like, and I hate to say this because he just stole my guy, but like, that's how owners should act. Yep. Like obviously, like Hal has moments where he has this quote where he's like, I don't believe you should have a $300 million payroll to be consistently competitive for World Series. He's not wrong when he says that. The problem is when Brian Cashman's your GM, you need to spend $300 million to cover his errors. So like that's Hal's kind of stinginess, but he still spends a fuck ton of money. The problem is like the Oakland A's signed Luis Severino to his $67 million contract. Soto's signing bonus is more than that. Like there's such a difference in owners mindset. Like everyone,
and that matters.
Every baseball owner should operate in the mindset that you are owning this team not to make a buck. You're doing it as a hobby, and you like baseball, and you want this team to win a World Series. And there's so many owners that just don't do that. So I hope people act like Cohen more. Like I hope this brings.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like that you cannot replicate a hungry new owner who is going to do whatever he can to win. When the Dodgers changed ownership, they went all in. When the Red Sox changed ownership, they broke the curse. It's because it's like I'm here for a reason. It's not to like make money and tread water. It's like I need to win. Whereas the Yankees are like, I'm trying to be like my dad, but we're not really. We don't want to go over the luxury tax, but we want to try to win. That's worlds apart, man. That is worlds, and that matters, you know?
He's inconsistent because like there's times where he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna be my dad. Like the 760 offer, like I don't think they had any plans to go this high. And like
No.
if he took 760, I bet there's people in that front office and the upper management that would be like, holy shit, like we have to pay this guy $760 million. Like they didn't plan this at all. So credit to Hal for like, going outside his comfort zone. But there are other times where he's like, yeah, that luxury tax is right there. So if he just was more consistent on this and being this type of owner, be a different story. But
they were never going to win, though. They were never going to win it. I think it's the money. I also think that the Mets, everything that you talk about the Yankees is in the past, and everything about the Mets is in the future. And I really think the Cohens present well. They're like a tight-knit family. They had him come to the house, and they cook Latin food, and his wife's involved. And how about that fucking stupid Yankee security guard who kicked out like Juan Soto's uncle or some shit like that?
That's nice and all. There's no way that had anything to do with his decision.
No, but it is smart that, like, I heard everyone else met at, like, Boris's house, and Cohen had him over, and blah, blah, blah. That shit matters, man. It may not matter more than money, but when you couple it with the money, it's like...
That would matter to me. That would totally matter to me, 100%.
Totally.
One devil's advocate question. So you guys are talking, and the Mets weren't going to be outbid. Is there a small part of you, Hubs, that's like, if we're not going to be outbid, just make it as expensive as possible and drive up the price? Does that have? Is there any regret in that, or is it just like, fuck it, like 765, like we're not touching that?
No, because Cohen is so rich that who gives a fuck? Like, there's no price that like is gonna bother him. So I think they understood that as well. Otherwise, they would have went to 775 or matched and then kept this going. Like they just knew like
that report from Martino saying that the Mets were behind, garbage.
Okay, let me tell you right now, just a blatant lie.
Yeah, just like straight up not true.
The Mets were so from my understanding, when the initial offers came out, Toronto blew everyone out of the water. But everyone laughed at Toronto because it's Toronto. No one is going to Toronto. Like, I don't know how they ever land a free agent like an Ohtani, or just no one wants to play there.
Wait, did they go higher than 765?
No, I don't know what their final bid was.
But the first offers was higher.
Start, they were like in the 6s or something. And everyone else is in the 5s. This is just initial, like, hey, we're just testing the waters, whatever. And pretty much everyone, Red Sox, Yankees, Mets, I don't know what the Dodgers started at, but all those guys were right in the mid-5s to start, maybe low 5s. And then things started to, then I think Boris used the Blue Jays to be like, hey, they're at 6-something. You got to get there. And then that's when everyone started to like, okay, here we go. Let's play ball here. But there was that notion that the Yankees were ahead the whole time is bullshit.
No.
I believe the Rosenthal thing where they were at 712 and they're like, hey, what are you doing? All right, 760. This is what we got.
Best and final, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, if he doesn't take this, then what are we doing here? And they were like, okay, well, fuck off.
I mean, you have to understand, like, Steve Cohen has statues that are worth $150 million. Like, you can't beat that guy. It's like, it's the right guy to do it. Everyone trying to all of a sudden flip now. He doesn't play defense and like he doesn't run the bases well. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like if we got him, you would use that.
Totally. I don't even know if I would because he's that good. Where it's just like, yeah, this fucking sucks. He's the best.
So I don't know if you're. I'm a masochist. So I was watching MLB Network last night, typing up my blog. You're writing your blog in the drafts at the same time, and I'm like, this sucks. If we were like on a show or a movie, this split screen would have been murder.
Yeah.
But I forget what, maybe it was Rosenthal or DeRosa, maybe. And he said when it was like a playoff game, I believe, Nats Dodgers or Padres Dodgers, and there's a ball, Kershaw's warming up to come out of the bullpen to face him in the playoffs. Just for him, and he knows this. And a ball gets loose or something like that, and he literally like goes near the fence and he makes eye contact with Kershaw, and he apparently like, and Kershaw knew at that moment like he just didn't have it, and Soto homered off when he came in. It's like he has. I hate to say this, but he's such a special player. Like all his at bats are a cinematic masterpiece. The way he controlled that at bat against the Guardians against Gaddis to win it was, I'll never see an at bat like that ever again in my life. Like it was, or from anyone else. Maybe he'll probably do it again, but anyone else.
You know what's ironic? I think that was very Steve Cohen-esque. I think it was like he was fouling those offers off. Like, I'm gonna do this all night until I hit the home run. Like, you're not gonna beat me, you know. Like, you just can't when someone is that good. So, and I know, like, is he literally based on Judge's numbers and whatnot? Is he better? Is he worth it? Literally, no. But also realistically, yes, in the sense of like what he means, what he brings, how he changes this landscape. And also look around the rest of sports. You got fucking NBA guys making 70 a year. You got NFL quarterbacks making 50. If you're a prime time player in the major sports, you should get around 50, 60 million. Like, I mean, that's not a big deal.
When Bryce Harper signed his deal with the Phillies, at the time, some people were like, whoa, that's a lot of years and money. Now, that guy's making 20. He's making $25 million a year for like the next 10 years. It's the biggest bargain in like
ever. Right.
So you have no idea what baseball money is going to be in 5 years. Like, that might be fine. Aaron Judge
also that opt-out, man, like, I don't think it's going to happen. But like, let's say it does, and you get like the best 5 years of Juan Soto's career. Then it's a $255 million deal over 5, and he walks. Like, I was worried about like a 3-year opt-out, you know? But yeah, 5 years, like,
yeah, for sure. I don't see any scenario where he leaves the Mets, though. Like,
the only thing could be is if the market really takes off and he rakes the whole time, he'll be what, 20, 30?
Okay, but even then, that's a really good thing for you because that means you got an amazing Soto for 5 years.
Right, that's what I mean. So either way, and then to end the opt-out is just $4 million more a year, which is like fucking chump change. So he will be a Met for 15 years if the Mets want him to be, and that's really all that matters. And like, dude, there's a guy in a hot tub pouring champagne on himself, celebrating signing with the New York Mets.
Yeah.
That is a paradigm shifting moment that, like, it just was never a thing. Certainly not right in the Yankees' face.
I'm curious how they react. I don't know who they sign and go after.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. 4 quarters doesn't equal $1 in baseball.
No, I agree.
Spread it around, but it ain't gonna do anything.
No, yeah, I agree. Like, if Kyle Tucker is next year, so that will be what everyone's talking about. And not to say he's Juan Soto, he's really fucking good, Kyle Tucker. So if you tell me right now, like, we get Kyle Tucker in a year, I can stomach this better. It doesn't save it because
I mean, look at the Padres. The Padres are, fine.
They won more games,
right?
They won more games.
Like, now over the course.
Here's the difference, though. Not to go on. Yeah, not to go on. Like, Aaron Judge saw the most pitches in his career in the strike zone this past year. Like, not necessarily taking Juan Soto lineup is like, but it's more just like Judge is now out there on his own again.
Got one good hitter.
Right. So listen, if you have all this money you're willing to spend on Soto, create this balanced lineup. Like, create a real leadoff hitter and get me a first baseman who isn't like paralyzed, basically.
Trent Grisham as your center fielder.
So that graphic, like, those guys aren't playing. Like, Trent Grisham, like, they're gonna get. I think it's gonna be Cody Bellinger. I think Cody will be in center, but like, again, it's not plan A. It's just not. I think, and also part of it, and while 800 million certainly did it, I think part of it was to, like, Cohen's not going to stop here, right? Like, you guys, I don't know if you guys get Burns or Fried, but you'll probably be in on them.
Yep.
Like, so, like, we'll be very in on them. The Red Sox will be in on them. If the Yankees brought back Soto, I don't really think they're doing much else here.
No.
Sounds like maybe getting a first baseman or Cody on the cheap or trading for a pitcher rather than signing one. Whereas I think Boris sold him, was like, hey, dude, they're just going to keep spending because he doesn't give a fuck. And I think winning matters to him a lot. And if you have an owner like that, that matters. 800 million, sure, is big, but and realistically the reason. But I think part of it too was, dude, this guy's out of his mind, and he's just going to not stop until he wins. So
last thing before we move on, because I don't want this to be a 10-hour rundown.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
I think, oddly enough, older Yankee fans are the ones who are, like, recognizing, like, what, like, there's a problem here that, like, we're not getting these big names. People don't necessarily want to come here anymore. And it seems like the younger fans are the ones who are, like, befuddled that you just want to be in pinstripes, which feels backwards to me. Maybe the older fans are the ones who realize how different it was between now and then. But this, like, if you were to ask Juan Soto what's Monument Park, I don't think he would know what it is. I really don't think these guys, he was born in 98. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. And it's interesting to see which group of the fan base is realizing that.
It sucks that I'm being grouped in with the old, like, I'm considered.
Yeah, bro, you're up there now.
I'm 31 in 2 days. I'm considered old. Like, fuck me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I pretty much agree. Like, there were way too many positive people leading up to that yesterday. Now, granted, I guess they, like, weren't necessarily in the know and they heard good things from Heyman, but yeah, I mean, if you took a step back and you understood what Cohen's directive here was this would have
Never
taken
had a shot.
like an assassination to get him. So
Yep.
yeah.
Congrats to Juan Soto for getting Joel Embiid money right now. Guy doesn't even play.
I know. That's what I mean. It's kind of crazy. It's it's like.
And then when you
whatever.
factor in like what Connor McDavid makes, it's actually hilarious.
Yeah, I know. Those poor bastards and how
It's insane.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Hubs, for joining. We're going to get into college football playoff with Big T. But first, we are presented by Gametime. Gametime is focused on togetherness this holiday season. When you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better. It's a perfect gift. You know how much we love Gametime. And now with our brand new Gametime Picks feature, they're making it even easier to get to a game. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff. So to only show you the incredible deals on the great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I was looking at some tickets actually for Bears-Vikings. It's next Monday night, not that far away. I saw amazing Gametime Picks deal. Great seats, only $118 for Monday Night Football. I know a bunch of our guys, Eddie, White Sox Dave, Chief, I believe they're all going up for that. So just pull out, choose your event and turn on the GT Picks feature at the top of the screen. Browse the best local Gametime picks near you on the Gametime app homepage. So what are you waiting for? Get those tickets you're looking at now with Gametime Picks. Take out the guesswork of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code RUNDOWN, one word, RUNDOWN, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code RUNDOWN, RUNDOWN, for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Gametime app today. What time is it? Game time. We're going to bring on our college football correspondent, Big T. Congratulations. Obviously, Tennessee in the playoff. They'll be facing off against Ohio State in an 8-9 matchup. How do you feel about the draw? And what do you think about the bracket as an overall feature this year?
I'm excited about Tennessee. I think Ohio State is a mentally broken and fragile football team. I think our defensive line is one of the best in the country. Their offensive line is very banged up. I think the matchup is good for us, but I'm just excited for the 12-team playoff. I was and still am in many regards not the biggest fan of it. Like the system is flawed tremendously. But it will be fun. Like Indiana, Notre Dame is going to be awesome.
Yep.
Tennessee, Ohio State will be an incredible game. Like SMU and Penn State.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have the teams with the byes. It'll be fun. So.
Yeah. I was with Gruden this weekend, and he was saying Tennessee has legit chance to make a run. Do you think they have legit title chances right now based on this draw?
I mean, like I was talking about with the format, the 9 seed's the worst seed to get in the whole thing because you go on the road in the first round and then you get the 1 seed after. So if Tennessee goes on a run, they're beating 2 of the best teams in the country, which they can. But like I would trade with the 11 seed in a heartbeat right now. Like if Tennessee could pick to be 11 or 12. Yeah, for sure. But you're going to have to beat good teams. So it's, they're talented enough to make a run for sure.
Yeah, no, the Penn State crowd was very happy with their draw going against SMU and then potentially Boise.
Penn State lost the only game they played against a really good team in the regular season, backed into the Big Ten championship game, lost that, and then got rewarded with the best draw in the entire playoff.
That was at least a frisky. So, obviously the Ohio State, that was a very close game. The Oregon game this weekend, started off pretty bad, but they absolutely made it a game late. They absolutely
if Oregon, which is the number 1 overall seed, and beat Penn State, could switch with Penn State, I think they would do it.
That's
a home game against SMU, and then you play Boise State, whereas they're going to play either Ohio State or Tennessee, which is way worse.
True.
Long live the Pac-12, bro.
Yeah, at least
Pac-12 showed up this year.
Georgia. Yeah, you are on the other side of the bracket as Georgia, which is a great thing in my opinion. But okay, any other closing thoughts on the college football playoff system?
No, it'll be fun. Fix the byes. Get rid of the byes should go to the 4 best teams. It's nonsense that Arizona State and Boise State have byes. At the bare minimum, reseed after the first round. But it should be really fun and cool, and I'm excited to watch it. We just did 30 minutes on Juan Soto. We're doing 90 seconds on the playoff.
I don't have much to offer. I'm sorry. I know.
I know.
Banter with you.
y'all were going on, and I mean, what are we doing? Why are we even doing this afterwards?
Yeah. I hear you. But thanks for hopping on. We're gonna talk NFL very briefly, but I actually really want to talk about these Baldos that went over to Turkey. Especially
best.
White Sox Dave being unable to get the Turkish ice cream. That was my favorite clip of the week. Let's bring on Nicky Smokes with his
Nicky the head. I gotta see his head. Is it better yet or what?
Well, it's good, boys. I'm looking clean. But before I get into the hair, I wasn't here for the Soto talk. But KFC, what are we doing here, buddy? You look like you just woke up from a 3-day bender. I thought you'd be in a 3-piece suit, smoking a cigar, pissing on Yankee fans' graves. Like, what are we doing?
I am feeling a little sick, but also I stayed up last night till 3 a.m. just fucking tweeting, and I feel like I went out drinking. I'm too old to be up at 3 a.m. hate tweeting the Yankee fans.
Hey, a good night on Twitter is just as good as a good night out.
I couldn't go to sleep. I was like, I'm reading more, consuming more, retweeting, hating. I couldn't stop myself.
Kevin, we're pretty much when your team like wins something huge, I love just like, and I don't usually watch like Sports Center, but I love just turning on like the talking heads in Sports Center, just drinking in
all of it,
all the love.
Yeah,
it's rare to get those wins. This is obviously
yes, for sure.
But Smokes, talk to us about your trip to Turkey. You guys are now back. I guess it looks okay. Like it's very hard to tell right now, just so I don't really know what's going to come in. So is that going to be your hairline, or is it going to move down? Like I'm kind of confused.
So that's going to be like the hairline. The real hair will start to. You'll see my real hair in 6 months. So right now, after day 12, these scabs will come out, and then I can start wearing hats again. And the hair that's in now, like right here, is going to fall back out, and then it'll start to regrow after 3 months. So they say 6 months, you'll see like 60% of the results, and then after a year, you'll be 100%. And your hair will just be back in. So right on time for summertime. Summertime Chicago, baby.
It is a problem. It's the absolute smartest thing you can do if you can afford it or pull it off somehow.
They got it free.
And that's the best thing. It was free.
Right.
I didn't even pay for it.
If you have the means one way or the other, do it.
It was fucking awesome. And the trip was sick, by the way. I'm thinking of rebranding to I'm gonna rebrand to Charlie Smokes. I'm a changed man now. Like that Europe trip changed my perspective on life. I'm more cultured. I'm moving different. I'm thinking different. I'm trying to buy assets. You know, like I just have a whole new perspective on life. I'm no longer Nicky Smokes. I'm leaning towards Charlie Smokes. I'm a changed man now. I'm dressing different, moving different, talking different. This is a new man you're talking to, Che. This is no longer Batman symbol hairline Nicky Smokes. This is a well-established young man who's ready to just fucking turn it up.
That might be true, but that might be true, but that swollen head for a few days was something else.
Now that was fucking crazy, right?
That was nuts.
I didn't have a choice, Che. They booked the flight. What'd you want me to do? Fucking thumb home? Like my flight was set that day. I was flying home that day. There was no way around it.
Now, was that like uncomfortable? Because you were very. Please insert the picture of this.
Che, did you see my face?
Yeah.
Like, did you think I was comfortable on that fucking flight?
So they put saline in?
Yes. So the worst part of the procedure is when they're shooting you up with the anesthesia, but then they're pumping your head with saline. And I'll show you the pic. I'll also send it to production so they could throw it up there. My head legitimately looked like a fucking rock. Let me find this picture to show you. I mean, it is disgusting. If you haven't ate yet, I won't show you it because of how fucking gross it is. Here, this is it. That was my head.
Okay.
That's the back of my head. It looks like a perfect cylinder. It look like it's insane. So yeah, my head was just inflated, and I got all my work done up top. So the anesthesia dripped from up here to my forehead. And then production should put the picture that Eddie posted. He took his finger and, no joke, went 3 inches into my head, and there was just a dent. There was just a dent in the middle of my forehead. And then it went from my forehead to my eyes, and you guys all saw my eyes. I looked deformed, and I was petrified. I can't even believe they let me in through customs. I was like, there's no way they're going to let me in there. Be like, this is not the same person.
Dude, you know what, though? Crazy. I've always said, like, going on like a bachelor party is fun, but what the best part is afterwards when you have the group text or the email chain and like everyone keeps talking and all that shit.
Yeah.
That is the best, not the hair. The best part is the turkey boys, the Baldstool boys have like a bond forever now. I'm so jealous of that.
That's what I was like. We're a squad now.
Yeah,
like we went through the trenches together. We went across the globe together. We conquered. We got the objective done. We learned special Turkish words that now we speak our own lingo now. Now we're just different. We're all on like a different level. And it's no disrespect to you guys. I don't know the last time you left the country, but you leave, you come back with a little different sauce, a little bit of different culture. I don't know about you. When's the last time you smoked a cigarette inside a restaurant? It'll fucking change your life. It'll change your life.
Yo, it's good for you too. Like you, when you shaved your head, you were pretty shocked. When White Sox Dave shaved his head, like he didn't need to do all this shit. He should have just shaved his fucking head.
White Sox Dave is the only person in the world who could go to Turkey for a transplant, find out he looks better bald, but then gets the transplant. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna rock a buzz cut.
What is the
like, buddy, you could have did that the whole time. But I will say this about Dave: I love him. Like, I would travel with him.
I like Dave
anywhere. Like, he was such a good vibe. Like, I know he gets a lot of shit, and look, so do I. Like, we're both dumb idiots, but like in terms of traveling with someone, I feel like you find out who someone really is when you travel with them. There is no better person I'd rather travel with than Dave. He was just down for whatever, good vibes the whole time, ready to drink. Funny inside story. After surgery, they say don't smoke or drink for 14 days. He was smoking a blunt in Turkey. In Turkey. It's not even legal there. 2 hours after his fucking procedure.
Imagine Dave is like the next like Brittany Griner and like locked
I was gonna say get locked up abroad.
Yeah. We're trading like major terrorists for White Sox Dave to come back. Oh,
we would have got fleeced. We would have never lived it down.
Who had the weirdest quirks on the trip? Because obviously you guys were in very close quarters.
What do you mean by quirks?
Like weirdest things about them, either sleeping hours or like eating habits or like.
Okay. Well, none of us could sleep. We were all jet lagged. So it's actually funny. In the group chat, we would all text each other at like literally 2, 3 in the morning. Who's up? And everyone was still up. Okay, so Eddie was the odd duck out. Love Eddie. No problem with Eddie. But he was beating to his own drum. He was either going to like the spa by himself, getting a foot massage by himself. The only thing I'm mad about with Eddie is he didn't come on the boat with us. And that was like
oh yeah, he's on the picture.
That's like when you're like your team wins a championship and he's not at the parade. Like that was our parade. Like we all just got new hairlines and Eddie was nowhere to be found. So
he
that
also
broke
had
my
his
heart.
hair on.
Yeah, so he had no excuse to not be there. But all in all, it was a great trip.
Okay. It's Monday, so we got to talk a little NFL. It was kind of a bad football slate yesterday. Obviously, the Chiefs winning with the doink yesterday to clinch the division. You two, since you guys are both here, let's talk Jets-Dolphins real quick. Jets officially eliminated from the playoffs the 14th year in a row. This year has just been a mess. Kevin, let's talk about that.
I think this is the worst year in franchise history. Given the expectations, like it's not Rich Kotite, it's not 2-14, whatever, but it's like people talked about winning the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Like,
and last year.
And honestly, if they were tanking yesterday, it would make sense. But we know they're not. We know Aaron Rodgers is trying to win games. The fact that they didn't just fucking run the ball 3 times, run the clock out, and kick a field goal is fucking insane. They handed that game, and I knew once it went to overtime, I knew exactly what was going to happen, and that did happen.
Yep.
It just marched right down the field. It's the worst. I think I traded, I sold my soul for the Mets or something like that. Like the Jets are just cooked, bro. I'm getting too much good over here to even expect that anything good will happen with the Jets for like the next decade.
Do you want Rodgers back next year?
No, I didn't want him to begin with, to be honest. I was never really a Rodgers guy. I was like, okay, if he plays like a Hall of Famer, like he's our best option. But as soon as it was clear that he wasn't, and I'll be honest, the Achilles really fucked him. Like, who knows what would have happened if he was healthy year one. But once that happened, and once he was sitting out OTAs, and once it was like he's a statue out there,
what about when he locked himself in a dark room for 30 days to decide if he wanted to play? I think that's the first red flag.
Right. Looking back, it was like, this guy is not focused. He doesn't care. He's doing it for the money. I'm almost happy now. I was faking it for a while. Oh, Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT. And I'm no, he's not. Now I can just be like, goodbye, dude. Total legacy tarnisher too.
Smokes, what are you saying on the Dolphins? They still have a shot at the playoffs after beating the Jets yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, KFC and your whole team, you guys are a bunch of pieces of shit. I really just wanted to be put down.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
I know the feeling.
I wanted
They're
to be
not
put
dead
down
schedule wise.
I
They're
know,
not
and
dead.
this is what I'm pissed off about because you, Che, and everyone else is you're not dead. You're not dead. We are fucking dead. When we got humiliated by Green Bay on Thursday Night Football on Thanksgiving, when we could have finally put our nuts out and said, "Hey, we're a real football team," we got fucking pummeled. What is the point of us squeaking into the playoffs? Going to have to go to either Buffalo or Baltimore, which, by the way, will be colder than 50 degrees, a temperature for some reason we can't fucking win in. Our coach is shaking like he has Parkinson's, and when it's 25 degrees out, there's no point. I don't want to get humiliated in the first round again. Will I be happy if we make the playoffs? Sure. But it's going to be the same fucking thing. It's just going to be another year with no playoffs. I'd rather be dead, and I'd rather people get fired. I want people fired. I don't want this first round, oh, we made it, and then lose again. I want people fired. I want change. I'm tired of being a fucking loser.
The worst thing you can be in the NFL is that no man's land.
Anything to just get in the playoffs. I just want to see
Che.
play in the playoffs.
Che, I've been in the playoffs the last 2 years and I've got fucking smoked. This team is no different. If I saw something different with this team, if they beat Green Bay, I would be twerking for the playoffs because then I believe that we could go into the cold and we could beat a good team. What makes you think, oh, we're just gonna flip the switch in the playoffs and go into Buffalo or Baltimore and win a game? There's no fucking shot.
That's how the NFL works, man. The team that wins always gets super hot in December. I'm just saying you're not eliminated from that yet. And until I had zero hope, I would not give up.
Okay, well, we still have Houston. We still have the 49ers. We have the Jets again, and we have the Browns. So we have basically two tough games out of the last four. But you basically have to win out and pray for other teams to lose at this point. Anyway, all I'm saying is I wish I was just dead and can officially move on because that's where I was at. Jets went up 23-15. I was dead inside. I was like, oh, I'm content. You know, it hurts a little bit, but at least I'm dead.
It's funny because meanwhile, I was like, this game is so far from over. They're not going to win this game.
Crazy.
Here's my plan, by the way, for the Jets.
Yeah,
I think they should sign Mike Vrabel. And
I want Vrabel.
Give him an obscenely long contract. I don't care what the money is. It's more about here is and make him like one of those coach GMs. If it's not officially that, like he has a lot of power. And let like the first few years just work on culture and bad penalties and erasing turnovers and making sure everyone shows up for OTAs and practice, all of that dumb shit. Like the Jets are so far from actually winning that it's like take the first 3 or 4 years to be Mike Vrabel, who's like bigger and tougher than half the guys who are active, and just establish that you're not a joke of a team before you even start to worry about trying to win the division, trying to win a Super Bowl. You got it. Like they're just going to do this thing with 4-year cycles of coaches forever until they change something actually tangible and make it be like, don't worry if you don't win in the first 4 years. It's okay because we got 6 more. We gave you a 10-year deal. You're our guy.
Yeah. Let's briefly talk about the Chiefs' run of dominance, 9 straight division titles.
Do you want me to hop off, Che?
No, stay on this. You were brought on for NFL stuff.
Okay.
What do you think about the Chiefs' last-second win, doinking it in for the division with a backup kicker?
They're the luckiest scums to ever walk the face of the earth. I mean, they can't keep getting away with this. Yes, insane, which is also a huge sign for decline next year. I'm just putting that out there. If this team wins the Super Bowl, they worship the devil. That's where I'm at right now. Like this team should not be 11-1.
I get that logic, but also isn't there something like I heard Hank being like, this team has black magic, they worship the devil, all that shit. Like that's what we used to say about the Patriots and like the teams that just always win. And I know there's a lot of luck and they're squeaking by, but it's like in a way, I'm almost more impressed with this team in a way. I know they're not playing well, but it's like they win with special teams. They can stop you on defense to win the game. They can score when they need to at the end. Like they just win even when they don't have their best stuff, which I think is kind of the sign of the best team of all.
I thought it was an interesting.
And they're only going to
press post game from Chris Jones where he was like, where they're asking like, you've won 10 one-score games, like are you guys like not that good? And he was basically like, well, in the playoffs all the games are going to be close, so
right,
transfer that.
Yeah,
and they only get better in the playoffs. Like even last year when they won the Super Bowl, they looked horrible in the regular season, and then they just did what they did.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Smokes. KFC, anything for post show?
I don't think so. I mean, surviving is cooking. and it sounds like we have not even seen. I was thinking back on our season, Shay, and I should have just. I mean, obviously, hindsight, but I should have just said, "I forgive you for being a fucking idiot. Let's get back together with our original plan."
I tried to tell you.
Yeah, but I know, but at that point,
the trust was broken. I know,
desperation.
but you had you had the dreams of you fights and Will going on vacation together. I couldn't get those.
No, it was not. Yeah. I was playing. That's funny. I said when you play with your heart and not with your head, you lose, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that I think there's already been enough entertainment. People are already loving it, and everyone who was there.
It's been a fun season.
It's
like I heard them talking about it on Unnamed, where it's like it hasn't even started yet. But like from a viewer perspective, full transparency, I don't know what happens at all. So I'm kind of like with the twists and the turns and all that stuff. And it's been like very exciting. I'm fully caught up. Are you fully caught up?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So just seeing like, I think the way all the votes in. So shout out to like our editors that have done this, because it's like, oh shit. Like I didn't see like that person getting eliminated until like minutes before it happened is even like a possibility. So
yeah, no, they do a great job with it. And it sounds like it gets way messier. Yeah. I mean, Dave has said, like, I hope the company's standing after this airs. So buckle up.
We will see. It's back tomorrow, I believe, right? I think it's Tuesday.
It started on Tuesday, so
yeah, I think it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
So tune in for that. That is the rundown. Congrats again to KFC and all Mets fans on the Juan Soto news. I'm Stephen Shea. This is the rundown for December 9th.